prices are going to be going down a lot. Stocks are going to be going down. Crypto is going to be going down. Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're not allowed short-term rentals in Ottawa. Yeah, so it really depends on your entire portfolio, your entire package, right? We would have to spend some time together, right, to go and look at your entire portfolio and what to do. But I could just tell you that if you were in some kind of multiplex in Ottawa, I probably wouldn't be in it unless the cap rates were really high. It depends also how much equity you have, where you should be going, and so on and so forth. But imagine that you were in a landlord-friendly jurisdiction where you could cover all the mortgages, right? And then you're protected if there's a non-payment as we head into a very serious recession. Yeah, man, it's going to be some tough times. Really, really tough. Let's see if we could play with a mortgage calculator. I'm going to try and pull one up here. Miley, is it Miley or Millie? I don't know how to say it properly. I apologize if I'm screwing it up. Let's pull up a mortgage calculator and let's go over some of this. Millie. Okay, Millie is your second, the proper way. Nice. Millie is awesome. Millie is 16 years old and is trying to learn a lot, which we really like it. Do you know if assignments are still taxed on the buyer side? No, I don't think so. I think that you don't pay the tax. It's the other that pays the tax. The initial buyer pays the tax. But depending on the contract and depending how the builder has it set up, you may have to pay it. It's individualized because it's usually the builder nowadays that will allow the assignment to be sold. Yeah, but this is to Freen. I personally think it's an absolute nightmare for you to even attempt to buy an assignment right now. I think it's crazy to be buying something anyway right now, but to buy an assignment is kind of like crazy squared, with the little 2 on the side. I wouldn't do it. It's going to be so rough. Right now, there's assignments being sold just a little ways from where I live, and they're selling for $1,800 a square foot, and I can go buy an existing property for somewhere around $1,000 a square foot. Come on, man! You want me to pay an 80% premium for what? And they both rent for the same money, so yeah, I never. And this is why all the buildings are not going to be getting finished. The builders are going to be going out of business, man. Really, really bad. It does not make sense. But of course, every damn realtor on the planet is going to be telling you buy new build, buy new build, buy new construction. Do you want to know why? I wish I could show you right now on my computer. I get emails every day where they're willing to pay me double my commission. Double the commission if I can convince somebody that's a good deal. My God, that is ridiculous. So, you know what? A lot of new realtors are going to tell you, yeah, it's great because an existing realtor has to sign this form working with a realtor. That means he has fiduciary duty to have your best interest at heart. I won't even work with anybody unless they have signed a fiduciary duty with me. So I know better. So I could get charged for trying to sell you that. But a lot of these new guys, they don't know any better. So how can they have served you within the best of their ability? They're not in trouble because they don't know any better. So I think it's absolutely bananas. I would never be buying a new construction as an investment. If you want to buy it for yourself, that's cool. We got a lot of people that say, I think it's gross to live in a house that someone else has lived in. I want to be the first person ever in there. And I'm like, okay, well, did you care if you spend extra money? They're like, money is no issue to me. I'm like, okay, cool. Let's go buy new construction. We've done it lots of times. So then I'm happy for you, but not from a financial point of view for saving money. I have to get a job to get 85,000 for a home in Cape Breton, I dropped price to 76,500. Yeah. I mean, listen, we just, those numbers are kind of funny. We just have a property we had to drop today, and it was 850,000, and now it's 650,000. Bammo. So, I'm not even surprised that you've only dropped it that much. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to pull up this calculator, and we're going to be looking at two different prices. Okay. So we're going to take so in Toronto, a very small condo is 500,000. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create my own rate. Okay. So if I add my own rate to what it was in December, what was the rates in December? I know it was around 1.5. Actually, it was that way into February. So I think that's safe. $500,000. So let's just pull this up so that you could see that. Can you see that right there? $500,000 mortgage for 1998. Let's call it 2000 just to be easy. Okay. So for the smallest condo in Toronto, it was $2,000. Okay. Now I'm not going to change anything except the interest rate, because right now most people are getting forced into some kind of fixed rates or something. But if you look at it, what a 6% interest rate is now, which actually I think is light, by the way, I think it's going to be a lot higher than that. Look at what the payments are now. So if I just take it and raise the rate to 6%, let's try and go up 31.99. Do you see it's the exact same price? 500,000 for 6% interest, and now the payment is 3,200 a month. So the payment went from 2,000 to 3,200, $1,200 more per month on the absolute lowest price unit that you can get here in a small one-bedroom closet. $1,200. Those units are not even big enough to have two people live in them. So if you can't even get two people to live in them, how are you going to get a second wage? How do you come up with $1,200 more a month? The average mortgage in Toronto is way higher than that. The average mortgage in Toronto is sitting around 800,000. So where do people come up with an extra $1,500, $1,600, $1,700? They don't have it. Right? And in the old days, they used to go to their house and just use it like an ATM and start pulling out money from it all the time. But now they can't do that because the house price has fell so badly that they don't have any money left to take out from it. So there's going to be some serious doo-doo that people are going to be in, a lot. And it's not going to be over 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. This is going to happen over a period of time. This is not an event. It's a process as it burns through, right? It's going to be really tough. Do I see the cost of brand new homes dropping significantly? I wish I could say that they would, but the majority of builders right now are just stopping building completely. They're not building anymore. They've put everything on pause. We're not paying for anybody else to come in. So new builders are probably going to go under, bankrupt, or just be perpetually on a pause. And this is at a time that we need housing desperately. So I wouldn't be buying a new home right now. I wouldn't do it. Listen, we used to buy new properties like pre-construction all the time until back in like 8-9 years ago or something like that. They changed the way that they charge. So for easy numbers, today they sell properties resale for maybe $1,100, $1,200 for a condo, but they are the new construction is like $1,800. So when you look at the divergence before that, you got to pay a 50, 60% premium to them. Remember, in stocks or whatever else, if you have some risk, I got to get some reward from it. But here, these builders are saying, well, in 4 years, when we think you're going to get your home, the price should be way up here, and that's the price we want to pay. So they want you to pay all the gains that they've fictitiously thought up in their brains over the next 4 years. So most people go and take the home in 4 years, had believed what they said. And when they get in their home, the home isn't near what the value that they said it would be. And that's the danger, is newbie investors, even if you're buying it for yourself, are always looking at the past to repeat itself. Well, properties went up 10% last year, so that means it'll go up 10% this year. And that's not the case. So you got to fall in love with the deal, right? Not ever the house. So right now, after they changed that math 8, 9 years ago, we just don't do that anymore. It's just not worth it. Did that help, or did it confuse you? Sorry. You guys have had some good questions today. Listen, this rate hike is probably one of the most significant ones. And why is it the most significant one? Listen, when you qualify for a rate, you have this fudge factor, this emergency rate. They call it a stress test. So if you had qualified for 5%, you now have to qualify for 2% over, like 7%. Absolutely crazy. And so now you're going to have to qualify for some bananas number. I don't even know. I haven't even looked at it today. Massive rates. And that is what's changing the prices for homes right now. Nobody's qualifying. The bank won't lend anyone any money to anybody. Is anybody looking to buy a home? I saw one person saying that they're thinking of buying a home, man. If you are, I'm really happy for you. I want you to go and kill it and keep destroying it, man. Keep doing well. But Naz, I said my reply is very clear regarding new construction. All right, thanks, man. Listen, I just don't want you to get smooshed. If I could show you my emails, I get them every single day for years. And every single email I have is, oh, great deal, great deal, great deal. And I've had, I don't know, I couldn't even count 500, 1,000 different clients that have always sent me, hey, can you check out this new construction? Hey, can you check out this new construction? And I've done it for 10 years. And every time I look at them, or no, yeah, more than, uh, I'm trying to think about when it changed 9 years ago or so, but everything since then, the past 9 years, all the new construction is at this new pricing model that if they believe in the year 2028, it's going to be worth $2 million. That's the price that they want you to pay. Really rough. So if you are buying for yourself, buy whatever you want. If you're buying for investment, and you don't, money is no object to you, fine, buy whatever you want. But if you're buying for investment, you got to find better ways to buy. Here is the deal is you got to do a lot of financial education in your life. And you have to read a lot of books and understand that 95% of the deals that are out there are garbage. And so you have to continually be sifting through all of this garbage to find that golden nugget, right? And so that's what we have to do all the time. Hey guys, if you like any of this stuff, please follow me on my YouTube channel at Rough Team Realty. Exact same name. I'd really appreciate it. Hey, trying to sell your house in Hamilton now for 3 months, reduce the price 2x and already bought. You already bought. How do you get attention? Oh, right. So this is I wish you would have called me. I could have helped you. I sell homes in Hamilton. So the days of realtor.ca, they're gone. They don't exist anymore. Though there is a lot of people that are on there, they're not actively looking on there. Let me show you one of the properties that I'm advertising right now. Hopefully you guys can see this. How do you flip the screen? Flip. Check this out. This is one of the properties that we're selling. That's over in London, Ontario, on Edge Valley. But check this out. We know how many people are coming onto the site every single day. Look at how many people are coming on from realtor.ca, 3 people. But if we look backwards here, look at this. Top referrals since we started. All of our sites, look at this, 51%. Realtor.ca only accounts for 16% of the views. 1/6. Do you get that? Realtor.ca is what all the realtors do is 16%. Look at all the other places that we have leads coming in, and by far the top one is my personal channel. But that's the thing, is realtor.ca is over. It doesn't work anymore. Did you see that? So what we do is we run ads on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, on TikTok. We run a lot of ads, and we have special websites that we design. So we design websites. We have people coming into it. We send out all these funnels. We have live 3D models. So you have to run all of that and create that. If your realtor cannot do that, then I guess you got to kind of do it on your own. If you can't do that on your own, I don't know what to tell you. It's one of the two. You have to do it to get the attention, but it's also the price, right? The price is a lot of the times the problem. So you have to be dropping the price accordingly. So all the properties that we have up for sale now, I got to call everybody today. I already did, and tell them we have to drop the price at least 7.5%, because that is the price that the interest rate just dropped the price of your home. If you're not aggressively keeping up with the price drop, you're going to always be behind. Let me show you something else. Do you guys have any other questions for me? I'd love for you to pop up and let me know. I just want to show you this. This is what we call catching a falling knife. So I'm going to draw this. Oops. I'm going to draw something. This is you're always behind the 8 ball. That's what I worry about. My pen isn't working very well, you guys. I ran out of juice, I guess. Sorry. But this is kind of what I was going to say, is as your house price is falling here, this is what's kind of happening to me, is say this was at 700,000, the buyer will say, I want 750. When the house drops to 650, then they'll say, well, I want 700. When the house drops to 600, they're going to say, I want 650. When the house drops to 500, they're going to say, I want 550. And this is the trap that almost everybody falls in, because they are always wanting more than what the market has. But you see, they're always 50,000 or 100,000 over what the market is, even though they're dropping at the same rate. So you have to be reasonable on what the rate is going to be, and you need to have a lot of advertising that's out there. Banana Republic, you said, ouch, bad idea. What are you talking about? Not a seller or a buyer market. No, that's right. It's a crashing market. It's not a market for anybody right now. The majority of the time, though, this is the problem that I would say that the majority of people are running into now as far as their thinking goes. I'm going to draw a map here. So the prices on homes have been going up and up and up and up and up and up. But the price in August 2021 was the same price in August 2022. So you've had 14 years of price rises and a couple months of decline. You could still lock in all of this profit, because the likelihood is homes are going to fall quite a bit more. So that is, it depends on the type of home that you're in. Really, really depends, because you could still lock in 13 years of profit and you only lost 1 year of profit, not even 8 months. So that's why I'm saying I think that you guys should really be thinking outside of the box here and thinking about how could you get more. That's what I think you got to do. You could lock in so much more profit right here. You only lost a few months of it. Lock in all the profits that you've gained since 2009 as prices have been going up and up and up. Lock it in. Take that cash off the table and put it in something safe. Do you guys have any gold or silver? Man, I think you should, right? You can buy a block of silver. They're really good deals. It's the third cheapest it's ever been on the gold to silver ratio. You can buy something like that. That's 100 ounces. You can have that brick. If that's a lot of space, buy something like this. It's just 1 ounce of gold. Very easy to carry around with you when you move. Banana Republic. Look at this guy. He says, use corn. It's got the juice. It's the best song ever, man. If you guys haven't seen that, you got to watch it. How much will it fall? You're talking about houses. Houses in Toronto, some areas have fallen 50%, 40%, 30%, all over the place. But if you're looking in different areas of Canada, like the entry level properties are not down at all. Whereas Toronto, where we are, downtown, close to transit, 1-2 bedroom units, those units are the same price. They haven't fallen at all, which is amazing, right? So you got to be in the right types of units. And generally, it's those entry level basic housing that is the lowest price. So if you have a $3-4 million house somewhere, those are the homes that are going to get the little living crap beat out of them. They're going to lose 50% off the type of that type of property. What about who bought recently? Yeah, the people who have bought recently are going to lose a lot. Unfortunately, their prices are going to keep dropping. I really regret that, man. Real estate ETFs that I would recommend. I don't have any ETFs in real estate. So those are REITs. Usually, I think that's what you're referring to. I don't have any REITs. I don't buy those things. I need to have control of my investments. Lisa Marie Pizza, man, you are amazing. You just sold your house for $650,000 and no mortgage. So you're sitting on some cash, which is awesome. What should you invest in? Same thing as I always tell everybody. You got to have about 1, 2, 3%, not a lot, sitting into some Bitcoin and Ethereum. You need to have some precious metals like a block. This is a Royal Canadian Mint bar of 100 ounces, something like that. Gold. If you want to start off very small, you can buy 1 ounce coins of silver. How much of that? You got to have like 10%, something like that of your portfolio. You need to have an opportunity fund, 6 months of emergency supplies, and then the rest of your money you got to have in cash flowing real estate in landlord friendly jurisdictions. That's how I split up my stuff. Good job though, Lisa, man. Amazing. Money isn't the most important thing. I know, but that's something that rich people always say. Poor people who are working 2 jobs and on the weekends and they can't afford food and they can't afford medicine for their kids, money is an important thing for them. So I got to tell you, it isn't the most important thing. I know family is the most important thing, but it's great. But when you're pushed against the wall and you're starving to death, it does mean everything. Interest rates going up. Got to sell my house now. Yeah, unfortunately, you probably do. But it really depends on the type of house that you have. Remember, I keep saying that is if you have a large house in the inner suburbs of a big city or downtown, yeah, you probably got to sell it. 1-2 bedroom condo, something like that in the major city, you can probably keep it. Obviously, depending on the type of jurisdiction you're in. Are you in New York, San Francisco? You probably got to sell it. But if you're in a smaller city, like a C-class city, then I would probably keep it. So it really, really depends. Zeppy, guys, you tell me. This guy is saying talk about something real sometimes. Am I not talking about real stuff? Why do I got all these guys saying some stupid like that? How many more hikes? Well, I'm just going by what the Federal Reserve in the United States and Bank of Canada says. They'll probably have 2 more. Something like that. What's your take on buyer activity at the rest of the year? This is pretty easy for me. This is to Mr. I got to put my hand here. Harnik Sidhu. This is pretty easy. We have all-time record number of eyeballs on realtor.ca looking at it. 1.3 million people per day are looking at the real estate market. Everybody's watching. But guess how many the sells are? We're at record lows. Nobody is buying anything, which is why you see inventory skyrocketing. We have entire subdivisions that didn't have anything for sale for years. And today, out of 80 homes, I was looking at one has 17 properties for sale. Everything is for sale and nobody's buying. So you're going to see as the time progresses on for the rest of the year, inventory will continue up and selling will be nothing. Lee, you said you're buying a duplex right now. It's going to cash flow $500 or $600 a month. Is this the one you're talking about in Ottawa? In Lee, I hope so. Long-term holding isn't a bad thing. Yeah, if you can hold on. If you can hold on as the rates are still going, right? And this is also a problem depending on where you buy, because depending on where you buy, you might not get any rent. So if you're in New York, you can live in a unit for 3 years without paying any rent. If you live in a place like Quebec, you can live 2 years without paying any rent. If you're in Ontario and someone loses their job, or even if they don't, they can live there for 14 months without paying any rent. So buy where you are safe. Where I live is not where I invest. Remember, two different things. Talk about what makes you happy. Coming on and helping people. I love coming online and trying to help people make their lives better and get financial freedom. Um, Zappy, that's why I do this. Like, I don't get paid to come online here every night, and I try to do it every single night, somewhere between 7 and 8 p.m. I try to jump on, depending on what paperwork is going on, what deals are going on. I always see you showing your gold and ETH. Yeah, because everybody should have some. Everyone should have some percentage of gold, silver, Ethereum, and Bitcoin in their portfolio. Alberta, yeah. Lee, Alberta is a fantastic place, absolutely fantastic place for you to be. Super friendly, landlord jurisdiction friendly. If somebody doesn't pay their rent for some reason, of course you can work out a deal with your tenant. But if they were a terrible tenant, I had one that was in Alberta. They literally had people crapping in pails in the backyard, and we were able to kick them out within a week, because like, that's totally not acceptable, right? Because he had a bunch of homeless people living in the backyard. Interest percent up just like inflation. Yeah. And normally the two operate separately. Normally we have inflation, and we won't have the economy crashing, or one or the other, right? So interest rate and inflation are usually opposite. We use interest rate to fight inflation, but here we're going into a very rare period of time where inflation is going to continue and interest rates are going to continue. So anyone who's working a 9 to 5 job, T4 worker in Canada, W2 in the States, they're going to get smooshed as their RSPs and everything get hammered down. The housing prices get hammered and the cost of living goes through the roof. When that happens, now you're not going to be making any money, right? And it's going to be really, really, really hard on people that have that. The only hope that you have is to out earn inflation. I got to figure out ways to make more money, or else you're going to get wrecked. Because if the cost of homes, housing, energy, food, daycare, and all that other stuff goes up to the moon, what are you going to do? What are you going to do if you can't pay that, right? There's going to be a lot of cuts that are happening. We're in a very, very rare time. So please be careful. Please be safe, and make sure that you're moving in the right direction. This is a good question. I really like this. Why do the realtors say that the market is rebounding? This is all over TikTok, all over Instagram, YouTube, all over the place, where every realtor and their dog is saying, oh, the market's going to rebound. The market's going to rebound. Honestly, it's because the majority of them don't know. They haven't been around long enough. In Toronto, it's about 90% of agents are in the market less than 3 years. So they're mostly new guys that haven't been around for very long and haven't gone through a downturn. But if you actually study this long enough, we know that there's nothing to show that it's a positive thing. Anyone who's saying that September is a good month is correct, because they say in the last 10 years, every September, there's a bump and prices go up. Well, because every August, everyone goes on vacation. And the first couple of weeks of September is chaos, getting your kids back in school. And then they go and buy something. Yeah, but the last 10 years is not this year. We have a war, supply chains falling down, food prices are going bananas as there's shortages everywhere. Countries are banning everything and anything. And this is not every year. So the ones that say that the market is going up, I think are dead wrong. But guess what? I'm putting myself out there. I'm telling you what I think, and let's see where we land, right? I got a lot of realtors that were telling me that they're going to raise the rates 0%. And I told them, listen, it's going to go up 0.75. I've made 100 videos about that, you know? So sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong, but I can't see one economic indicator that is showing things are going to get better. So most people say, well, if they lower rates back down to 0.25, houses will recover. No, they won't. No, they won't. Even if they drop rates down by to 0.25 like it was in February, we still are stuck with all the inflation from food and energy and all the other problems that are still going to be hurting you. There's not enough disposable income to put the prices back where they are, not for a long time. So be careful about that. It could be one of the biggest real estate crashes in percentage wise, but let's see. And it really depends, right? The real estate market isn't like this whammo across the planet. It's not all the same. It's never like that. It's going to be certain cities, certain areas, certain tax friendly jurisdictions, and the type of property commercial, residential, multiplex, all of them. You really need an expert in this type of stuff. Manny, how are you, buddy? Thanks for coming back. Bank of Canada rate. Yeah, that's what we've been talking about for the past hour or so. Yeah, the Bank of Canada rate is up. It's going to continue and it's going to stay high. It's not going to be dropping. Not for now. I do think by like February next year, it's going to be dropping. Zappy, real estate brokerage advertising. What do you mean by that? Most brokerages don't advertise. Lankadin, you said real estate has no choice but to go down. Absolutely correct. Real estate is going to be dropping a lot more, quite a bit more. How long until they come back down? When is your prediction? Well, Lee, we really think if you read all of history, this is what I think you guys all should do. If you get your screenshots ready, these are the two books you should be reading. These are the year's top two books I think you should read: Ray Dalio and Peter Zien. Ray Dalio and Peter Zien, these two books. If you can read those two books, you're going to be a lot better off. They should start to stop raising rates at the latest in February, but I think they're probably going to start lowering rates. You converted all your Canadian to USD? All right. That is a strategy, I guess. That's following the dollar milkshake theory. I don't know if you've heard of that. The WEF said that you'll own nothing and be happy. So for those of you who don't know, that's the World Economic Forum. Yep, they absolutely said that, right? And they've published a lot of papers about that. And the United States haven't signed up to the World Economic Forum, but Canada really has. That's what happens when the government's printed a lot of money. I mean, this is the tale as old as time, guys. If we go back to ancient Rome, they started collecting all the gold coins and putting 50% just cheap metal in it so that they could keep all the gold and go fund their military, right? We've been printing money in one form or another over and over and over again. And the country, as it gets better, starts printing a lot of money and then they collapse. And then the next country does it and the next country does it. And that is a lot of what Ray Dalio says in his book, talking about how countries succeed and fail. Money printing is usually the main thing that will wreck them. Houses will plummet, stocks will fall. Are you saying the houses will fall more than stocks? I don't know. Usually stocks overall will drop more, but you know, who knows? Who knows? Let's all move to Cayman Island. I don't even know what your name is, but I love that. You guys know that I go to Cayman Islands all the time. I absolutely love it there. They have one of the best tax systems going, and Canada, United States should follow them. They have zero income tax. Zero. So you know when you go to the machine and you go buy something at a store, you got to pay 13% tax. In Cayman Islands, it's 25%. You go buy a steak, it's 25% tax on top of it. Very expensive, but it's a usage tax. It's not based on how much you make. So if you make $1 million and you got to pay a couple more dollars for a steak, you still get to keep it all. And imagine a system like that where all of the accountants and bookkeepers and all of the Internal Revenue Service, the Canadian Revenue Agency, all of them, they all go away. Think about how more efficient the world can be. Amazing. I'm trying to keep up with all these questions, you guys. I'm sorry, I'm falling behind. Harnex Sidhu, you said you've been scrolling through TikTok all day and realtors say that it's rebounding. Yeah, you are honest. I always want to be honest, man. And that's what I've built my entire career for 20 years on that, right? Everyone who says the market's rebounding is because they want to sell it to you. So if you would have talked to that same realtor back in January, he goes, buy now, it's the best time to buy. In March, when the war broke out, buy now, it's the best time to buy. In May, he says, don't worry, it's going to be rebounding anytime now. And then, every month he's like, buy now, buy now. That's not how you build long-term relationships. Now, I'm saying the majority of them don't know any better. So it's not that it's premeditated. Do you know what I mean? But I read a book a week. I study this stuff. I have been for 20 years. So I just know more than the average bear. Remember? Hey, boo-boo, Yogi. I know more. That's all. So I've just done this for too long, and I've already went through recession. The housing shortage across the country will keep prices steadier than you think, in my opinion. Cool. Let's take a look, right? Let's see what happens. So as far as the Canadian real estate agency says, across the country, it has dropped 0.5% only. So some of my favorite markets, if you look at Calgary, Calgary's up 11%. Cool. Toronto is mega down. Some areas down 50%, 40%, 30%, all over the place. So it really depends on the type of market. But here's the general rules. The higher the price, the higher the drop. Okay, so if you had a house for $3 million, you're probably going to lose half. But if you had a house at $500,000, there's no way you're losing half. That's why most of the investors that come here from Saudi Arabia, from China, if they have $5 million to put in the market, they're not going to go buy a $5 million house. They're going to go buy 10 one-bedroom units because they know. I like this comment by Dimitri. He says, at that point rate, we are going to hit critical mass, which is absolutely correct. Right now, over the rest of the fall, we're going to be hitting trigger rates. The numbers are not perfect. They don't know what it is. It's around 80,000, but they said it could be 2 or 3 times larger than that in Canada alone. In the United States, somewhere between 750,000 and 900,000. So that is critical mass for sure. Can make some real big trouble. How much do you think it's going to go down in the United States? In the GTA. Today, they raised the interest rate 0.75% up. 0.75% up drops your home price by 7.5%. So if your home was worth $1 million, it lost $75,000 today. How much more do you think it might go up? It might go up 1 or 2 more times this year, but probably smaller rates. I don't expect it to be more 0.75s, but let's see what the data is. Housing shortage is a myth. Visit Singapore and Taiwan. They have a real supply issue. So I haven't been to Singapore or Taiwan, just so you know. I don't know what it's like there. But in Canada, they're short around 1 million homes. In the US, they're short around 5 or 6 million homes just to bring it to a balanced market. So we do have a shortage, but maybe they have a larger shortage. I don't know. Manny, you're asking, do I buy houses in US or Alberta? Yes, I buy in Alberta a lot, and I'm going to be moving into the US soon. Farm Boy, most people cannot pay higher rates on a $500,000 house. Absolutely. We did this experiment just a little while ago on this live where the payment for somebody at a $500,000 right down there in February was paying $2,000 a month, $1,998. Today, with the new rates raise, I was trying to be generous and actually be low on the rate. The new payment is $3,200. So 2,000 payment went to 3,200. I mean, we're at insane. By the end of the year, what are the mortgages going to double? And people's wages haven't doubled. So it's going to crush the market. And this is where we were talking about a couple of comments previous, critical mass. And that critical mass is going to take over. Big trouble. Big trouble. But didn't we all agree that we needed the money during COVID? Didn't we understand the price tag? No, most people don't understand the price tag. Even politicians don't understand the price tag. So they're going to have, it's convenient that today they have somebody to blame. They're going to say, oh, supply chains, China, Russia, whatever. But it was the money printer that started all of this. And so you're saying, did we need to print money? Okay, but did they spend it wisely? I don't know. Why is gold going down? Very good question. Why is gold going down? Gold, is it going down or going up? So the COMEX markets, gold is going down, but in real life, the prices of them are going up. So the real people who know the value of gold and silver, and if you want to get it in your hand, the price has actually been going up on real gold in order to get it into your hand. I think right now, I'd have to go check, but it's near all-time record highs for the premium to be able to get it into your hand because so many people are stacking it right now. But this happens often. Like as the markets are going down, people will start liquidating their stuff in order to be able to afford their bills. So they're going to, any gold or silver that they have at home, they're going to go sell. They're going to go sell their RVs and their boats and everything to keep afloat for longer. Hey, you guys, if you like any of this stuff, I really appreciate it. If you like this, just a couple times, give me some hearts or something, and follow me on Rough Team Realty, the exact same name over on YouTube. I would really, really appreciate it. I'm trying to get my numbers up over there. I come on every single day just to help you guys out. I really want to help you. Gold is declining. Gold and silver is amazing. So I've been buying it since 2010. I have my whole strategies around metals. I made a course on it recently. Hopefully it'll be ready in a couple weeks. But gold and silver is fantastic. As the price goes down, I buy more of it. So I'm happy about it. Best province to invest in Canada for properties is Alberta. That's to invest in properties. That's not the best place to live. I don't live in Alberta. I want to live where I have the most fun, but I want to invest where it makes the most sense. I live in Toronto because it's amazing. Amazing place to live, but I don't invest here. Manny, where are you looking to move to the US? I'm not going to be moving to the US myself. I'm going to be investing. Most likely it's going to be in Memphis. That's where it looks like we're going to be buying. Where would you suggest locking in right now? It is so long for how long or variable? Listen, you've rode the wave already from 1% all the way up to whatever they're going to be charging you now. I don't know, 5.5%, 6.5%. You've already rode the wave. So I think that they're only going to be raising it maybe 1 more percent. So if you locked it in, I would only lock it in for a year, or I would stay on variable. But if any of you have followed me for any length of time, last fall and November, December, January, something like that, I was on every single week. I was on my lives. I was like, fix your rate, fix your rate, fix your rate, fix your rate. So I fixed all of my rates because I knew that this was going to come. I didn't know how high it was going to be, but when the governments are saying we're going to raise it 1,000,000 times to battle inflation, well, obviously I'm going to take them for the word. That's one thing I actually believe that the government would do. I thought the banks would loan more money in September for houses. Well, they're willing to lend a lot of money. They want to lend money. They're in the business of lending money, right? But banks now are not giving 80% mortgages for investment. They want 70% or 60% on their mortgages. They're squashing down how much, and you have to have massive equity in order to get it. So the qualifications to get mortgages now are bananas. It's almost impossible for them to be even to get it. Okay, thoughts on Section 8 homes in the United States? For any of you who are not down in the United States, this is where the government is, it's low income housing for people to move into the properties, and the government guarantees the rent. Very dangerous strategy if you don't know what you're doing. It's very, very tough. If I would not do it. I think, Manny, you said you live in Canada. I wouldn't do it if you don't live there and you don't know about it. It's tricky. Click Man, how are you, buddy? Thanks very much for coming on. I don't think I've ever seen you before. If I've never seen you before, please follow me on Rough Team Realty on YouTube. Thank you guys for all the likes. I really appreciate it. Really helps out the algorithm, helps me out. I put in a ton of hours coming on here for free, helping a lot of people every single day. I am not a teacher of this. I'm a practicer. I'm a brokerage. I am the broker. We operate all over the Greater Toronto area, but we consult and advise people all over North America. So we are available for you if you ever did need a consult or advisory. for Clickman, you're talking about Quebec properties. I don't invest in Quebec. Quebec is a terrible place. It's one of the worst places in Canada to invest. In Quebec, they hate landlords. You can live there for 2 years in a unit without paying any rent. That doesn't fit any of our bills. So we actually have been spending 6 months filming, and we're writing a book as well. You'll be able to get it on Amazon. We have our channel open for that. But once we do have that out, you're going to see all of the people that we teach and coach. We are always looking for landlord-friendly jurisdictions. Landlord-friendly, meaning I can evict somebody if they don't pay. I can evict somebody if they destroy my unit, and I can raise the rents according to the market conditions. Is it a good time to sell your house? User with a bunch of numbers there with red, yellow, blue. Is that Dutch? I think it's Dutch. Anyway, if it is, oh, you're in Halifax, Nova Scotia. Are you in a detached house or in a condo? What kind of building are you in? I want to know what kind of house that you're in. Are you in a single family dwelling? Or are you in a condo? Makes a big difference. Thanks for all the likes, you guys. I really appreciate it. We got a lot of people on here asking a lot of good questions, man, because things are really, really different. Detach with a garage and you're separate. Well, that's really good. How long have you owned the house is another question that I have for you. How long have you owned the house in Halifax? Did you buy it within the last couple of years? Do you have equity in it? An acre lot? If you bought it within the last couple of years, you're probably going to go underwater. If you actually have owned it for a while, you had some equity, and you've owned it for 22 years. Amazing. So there's no way the price is going to drop that much. Listen, the properties in Toronto are going to be dropping 50%, but the properties out in Nova Scotia are going to be dropping 20 or something like that, way less. So if you've had it for 22 years, you've had the massive price booms already over the past 14 years. So there's no way that you're going to be down. So I would be keeping that property, especially if you have an acre lot in Halifax. You have other opportunities. What other opportunities? Please go to my YouTube channel here, Rough Team Realty, and look for the video I did on revenue streams. Just type in revenue or streams on the channel. We showed you how to get 22 revenue streams in one home, because you have options. Rent out the back to a tiny home, an Airstream, Airbnb in the back, put a unit in your basement, put solar panels on the roof, put a telephone antenna, or crypto miners. You have options. But I think you're in good stead. But you said you want to downsize. So if you're thinking of downsizing your home, the larger the home, the bigger the price drop. So if you were going to go from a detached home on an acre lot and you're going to go buy a 1-bedroom condo, then it would be a good idea to do it. Do you know what I mean? If you were downsizing, this is the time to downsize. If you were upsizing, then this is not the time to do it. You wait for the big house to drop a lot in prices. Downsizing is good. Another idea right now, because the prices all over are falling, is you could sell your property, move into a rental for a couple years, let all the dust settle from all the chaos that they're creating. And then once we know where prices are, you're going to be able to buy in at another time. But if you own your house after 22 years, you probably have a lot of equity. You don't ever let all that cash just sit around. You can't do that. Hey, you guys, I'm on TikTok and I'm on YouTube at the same time. If any of you have any questions on YouTube, you can leave them. I also am monitoring the questions there, but all the questions are coming in on TikTok right now. What about selling a townhouse in Kitchener? This is for John. Sorry, I can't read your last name here, Morosin. I have this checkered shirt on. I can't always read it. Selling your townhouse in Kitchener is not going to be working right now. Maybe it depends. If you bought it in the last 3 years, you're probably going to go underwater. If you've owned it for 5 years or more, you're probably in good shape and you want to stick in that townhouse and don't get rid of it. Jeremy on YouTube. Hey, how are you, buddy? Good to see you again. Hope that you're doing well. You guys, I did not expect so many people to come on. I really expect that it is the interest rate that went on today. There's a lot of people asking a lot of questions, and my phone is dying. So I'm going to take off my microphone here, and I'm going to put on this, and just I need you guys to let me know if you can hear me still. Can you guys still hear me? Just let me know if you can still hear me, and I'll be able to let you know. Can you still hear me? Can you still hear me? You can hear me? Oh, great. Jeremy, thanks very much on YouTube. Oh, you can hear me. Nice. Thank you very much. I'm glad you can hear me. Okay, so Jeremy, if you have any questions, and thanks very much. Guys, I just got 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. So if you like me, please go over to YouTube and follow me over there. I'm going to try to continue with your questions. That Dutch flag over in Halifax, I think I covered you, Manny. You said, what do you think about Brampton, Mississauga second unit dwelling law passed? Yeah, this is not a time for you to be buying in Mississauga or Brampton. Prices in both of those places will probably go down another 20%. So even though they have the second unit dwelling law that has passed, it's not the time to build. It's not the time to buy. It's the time to watch the fire burn through and then pick up the deals when it goes by. Amber, how are you? You said my partner and I make $75,000 combined in Northern Ontario. Can we buy a decent home? Yeah, you should be able to. Absolutely. I think so. My family is from Northern Ontario, from Sault Ste. Marie. I don't know where you are. I had some also family in Wawa, so I don't know where you are. So I should use my credit. This is for the person that was in Halifax. You were in Halifax. I don't know what you mean by should you use your credit to get a better deal, to get a better rate. I'm not sure. Hey, Fresh Yoshi on YouTube, thank you very much for coming on today. Please give me any of your comments. We're talking about money and breaking free of that financial burden today, breaking free of the matrix, man. We want financial literacy for everybody and for everyone to get out. Now, the interest rate that went up today is bananas, and it's going to create mass contagion in the market. John, you said 15 years, and yes, John, what were you saying about should you sell your townhouse in Kitchener? No. Okay, John, if you have owned your home for 15 years and you are in Kitchener, stay in it. You've already weathered a lot of the damage. Remember, entry-level homes are the homes everyone's going to go after all over the place. Entry-level homes. So you don't need to be doing any drastic action right now. If you were in Kitchener and you said, I have a 5-bedroom corner lot detached home with a pool in the backyard, I'd be saying, sell that pig right now. Get out of it. Amber, Sault Ste. Marie. That's where I'm from, man. My mom is from there. My grandparents, everyone was from there. So amazing, man. Thanks very much for coming on. Love it. For $75,000, you should be able to get something good. Yeah, for our Halifax friend, you're saying, should you use your equity is what you were meaning. So if you did sell your home, which you were wanting to downsize anyway, one of the ideas I was saying is you could downsize your home from the large home to a small home. That's a good idea. Another good idea would be for you to sell your home, sit on the and have the cash, rent for a year, maybe 2, and let all of this dust settle from the chaos that they're creating. And then you can't sit on cash. You need to invest some of it. So what do I invest? Tell people to 10% of what you own should be in gold and silver. The rest of it, you should be focusing on buying cash flowing real estate. So even though the prices of homes are going to be dropping out in Halifax 20% probably, and the property prices in Toronto are going to drop 50%, the homes where I buy in Alberta and Tennessee and Arkansas and stuff are all going up. They're all up 10%. So buy in the areas that are safe. Fresh Yoshi over on YouTube, you said, how do you get started in real estate? So you got to get started, but you got to get some cash somewhere. Get the best credit score you can. Stock up as much cash as you can. My advice to everyone is always have 10% of your net worth in gold and silver of some kind. So you can do that, but you should be sitting this wave out and start getting ready to buy property. You don't want to buy right now. You probably are going to start seeing good deals February, March next year. So you got to wait a while. Not yet. Don't buy anything right now. Watch the fire burn through. Watch everyone get into some trouble. This is user 457 something. You said, how can the Toronto market drop by 50%? Well, my friend, it already has. If you go up into areas like King City, it's down 50%. Brampton is down 40. Last I checked, and the interest rate hikes that we've had today are going to extenuate that. It's going to make it even worse. Before the rates that were today, parts of Mississauga were down 35%. And so today's rate will drop it another 7.5% moving forward. So it's pretty easy, but it really depends on what type of property, because in Toronto, the 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom condos are not down at all. They're up a lot. Earlier in the show, I was showing you on realtor.ca the number 1 and number 2 searches that they were tied are for 2-bedroom and 3-bedroom units. I've never seen that before, because everyone's downsizing out of their properties to get into rentals right now. A Fresh Yoshi over on YouTube, you're very welcome, man. Let me know if you have any other questions. Jeremy, you as well on YouTube, if you have anything, happy to help you. Hopefully I'm answering you guys something and giving you some value. If I'm giving you any value at all, please follow me on YouTube. I'd really, really appreciate it. Like some of my videos, watch some. I have some great stuff where I go through everything mathematically up on the screen. Oh man, you guys got some great questions today. Okay, I'm going to try and am I keeping up? I hope I'm keeping up for you guys. It's a second unit tenant isn't paying. Are you saying if a second unit? This is to John. Sorry, I lost your comments somewhere, but it depends where you live. Remember, if you are in Texas, Tennessee, Indiana, Florida, Arizona, Nevada, in red states, you can kick someone out in 1 week or 2 weeks. If you're in Canada, it's only Alberta that you can kick somebody out in a week for non-payment. If you're in New Brunswick, it's 2 months. If you're in Ontario, 14 months. You're in BC, a year. If you're in Quebec, 2 years. So you have to be in a good jurisdiction that's going to protect you while we're going through this really tough time. Amber, you're saying thank you. Yeah, of course. Like my whole family went to Cora, the high school. Maybe I'm saying it wrong, but anyway, wonder if you went there too. But Sault Ste. Marie is a good market for you to get into for sure. How can the Toronto market drop by 50%? Sorry, I think I already covered that. Thoughts on Windsor market for multiplexes? This is for Manny. Yes, Windsor is a good idea, but probably not now. We were buying in Windsor all last year and the beginning of this year, but as soon as they said they're going to start raising rates, you have to put a pause on everything. So we haven't been buying in Windsor right now. But it is a much better market to buy in Windsor or London especially, rather than going to Toronto right now. Is that Elam? Is Debo more valuable to keep or trade? If I'm sorry, I don't understand that, man. User 457. You live in King City. So you must have seen that report that came out. There's a lot of properties in King City that are very high value, very big properties on very big chunks of land. So there was this thing that just came out about a month ago, or no, 3 weeks ago, and the property average prices were $3 million, and they're down to 1.5. Like I said, it really depends on the type of properties you're talking about, because a small 1-bedroom condo is not going to perform the same as a semi-detached or a detached. All different. John, you said great content, man. I hope so. I'm trying to help you guys. Listen, guys, I've been doing this for 20 years. And so my biggest advice to you is educate. I wish I could say that all of this stuff was me. I didn't do all of this. Thank you for the confidence boost, but I recommend that you guys start reading books. This book, The End of the World is Just the Beginning, one of the best books of the year, just came out this summer. This book came out in the spring, The Changing World Order. I think everybody should read. In addition, I don't like this book as much, by Tom Wheelwright. This is Wealth Strategies, where the governments pay you to make investments. His other book that was called Tax-Free Wealth, much better than this book. But I recommend everybody be reading books all the time. These are the ones that are on my desk. But I need you to, if you're just starting off, like Millie, you can go to my list under my name there, under, what would you call that? That link underneath. I have the top 10 books that you should read if you're starting off. But thanks, John. I really appreciate the compliment. And Manny, you said, thanks, David. Always great advice. Thank you, man. I'm really trying to help you out on YouTube. You guys have anything else for me that I can help you with? Amber, you said that you moved for college a while ago. Housing market is still cheap here and lots of unkept homes. Yeah. So my family is from Sault Ste. Marie. My grandparents were born there. I mean, I could tell you all the homes that are in the area. My grandfather actually lived on First Avenue. Maybe you know where that is. They worked at Algoma. So did my uncle, So, I mean, Sault Ste. Marie is near and dear to me. Sault Ste. Marie is not what it used to be. It is a place that is affordable for you to be able to buy your home. Although depending on where you want your life to go, your financial goals, it may not be the best place for you to buy. It may be a better idea for you to rent in Sault Ste. Marie and buy properties in other areas that cash flow. Manny, if you were going to start to read your very, very first book, my recommendation, do you see this guy, Tom Rewrite? He is the chartered accountant for Robert Kiyosaki, who wrote the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. My first book that I would probably read is Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's a great book for you to start your journey, and that's on my top 10 list of books that you should start reading. Of course, only after you read my top 10 books should you even start to read these books. I would not be reading these books yet. These are really heavy, deep books. These are like college course, like bend your mind type books. But can I make a recommendation to everyone on YouTube and TikTok today? This guy, Peter Zian, he actually has some really good, he doesn't have a channel really, but he does a lot of presentations with entire like wall slides. They're about an hour and a half, and he does some really good. Look for one in 2022, something like that, and where he has the big slides behind him. Really, really good by this guy, if you want to not read the book. Also, this guy, Ray Dalio, he's so rich, you have to have $8.5 billion with a B in order to become his client. 8.5 billion. Mega rich, super, super smart. The past 500 years of history in one book for financial. But he made a video on YouTube called the same name, The Changing World Order, and it got 13 million views. And you can go watch that movie, which is 45 minutes basically, to read that whole book. So you could go and essentially have the main nuts and bolts of both of those books in a very short period of time. Sorry, guys, my battery had died, so I had to unclip my microphone. I hope that the volume isn't really terrible for you guys. I hope it's not working. My microphone is not hooked up. But on YouTube, my microphone is still hooked up. I use this one for YouTube. So YouTube, you guys should be okay. Oh man, you guys have asked a lot of really good questions tonight. I hope that I helped that out. Listen, the market is going to continue to drop. That's the main thing, the main takeaway for everybody. Oh, Millie, you can hear me good? Thank you very much. Yeah. So this is my main advice for everybody is stay clear. There's a forest fire burning through the real estate market right now. It's going to continue through. We got a lot of trouble that's going to be coming, and you got to get through this. So for someone like Millie, you can learn a lot right now. Now is the time to take advantage. Now is not the time to be buying anything. So as you get through this time and keep moving through it, then you're going to be able to get to the other side and start buying up properties. Here's the cool thing for someone Millie's age, for somebody like our Sault Ste. Marie friend, Amber, you are coming to a time in late 2023, 2024, you'll probably be seeing some of the cheapest housing you will ever see in your lifetime. It's funny. I have this one guy that I was coaching, and on this conversation was over years. I had told him in 2020 that we got to keep working. In 2019, I mean, before even a little bit of the recession, he said, when do I have to keep working? And I said, we're going to keep working until we recover from the next big recession. He said, when is the next big recession? I said, I don't know, but you got to keep working until the end of the next recession. If you keep buying stuff as the market goes down and then recovers, by the time it recovers, you will have enough stuff that you can retire immediately. So this is the time. Why do you think I've been buying gold and silver for 13 years? Is because I've been preparing for this. I can't wait to buy homes for pennies on the dollar. All right, you guys. So did I help you out? I hope I helped you out. I hope to help you out a lot. I want you guys to be into this housing thing as much as you can. You're going to be able to buy homes at rock bottom prices if you're thinking of buying. But if you're thinking of trying to sell, man, this is what I was showing before, right? Housing prices have been going up and up and up and up and up. And August 2021 is where we are in August 2022. You just lost 1 year, but you could still bank on 13 years of profits and still keep that. So I want you to keep that 15 years of profit, 13 years of profit that you've gotten. It's not a bad time, but again, depends on the type of home that you're going to sell. So where you got to protect yourself, you want to be in small entry-level homes, entry-level condos. Those are the things that are not going to lose their value. Look at every single recession that we've ever had, ever. It's always the same thing. Not everybody is willing to leave their country, leave their city, absolutely abandon everything. No one wants to do that and go start a new life on another part of the country. But everybody is willing to downsize and go from their big house down to a 3-bedroom condo. I mean, they don't do it like happily, but they will do that before they move to the other side of the country. Fresh Yoshi, if on YouTube, if you are thinking of getting into real estate, you got to be going and start reading some books and educate. Education is the #1 return on investment that you can get for yourself. If you want, and you're just starting off, you can go over to my TikTok channel and click on that link on the top. Because on that link, I have the top 10 books that you should be reading right now to get yourself ahead. A lot of the books that I'm even talking about, a book like Rich Dad Poor Dad, for example, you can probably get it for free online because it's been around for so long. I think it was updated once, but it's a good way to start bending your brain and figuring out what is money, what is currency. This is currency, paper currency, whereas this will always have value. It always has a value. Imagine some type of alien would beam down out of outer space. He would still maybe make a spaceship out of this, right? But a piece of paper, you could light a fire with this. They wouldn't know what that is. This is just a representation of money. This is real money. It has some value in silver. Remember the old bills. I always show this to everybody. These old bills say silver dollar on the top. And on the bottom, it says $1 silver payable to the bearer on demand. Now, the $20 bill used to be for an ounce of gold. This was made in 1928. And at that time, this was a certificate backing it against gold. So that is the difference. That's the main difference. The $20 bill used to be exchanged $20 for 1 ounce of gold. Today in the US, it's like $2,000 for an ounce of gold. In Canada, it's about $2,500. So this is where you have to start bending your brain and doing that switch between what is money, what is currency. So I don't want to hold a lot of currency. Of course, I run 4 different businesses. So we have to have currency because we have to pay a lot of the bills, right? But from my personal life, I'm always trying to get rid of cash and exchange it for goods. How does that track inflation? Nathan, are you referring to gold and silver? Are you referring to gold and silver? So gold and silver typically tracks inflation very, very well. Gold, if we look back 2,000 years ago, gold and silver bought a good suit and nice pair of shoes. In 1950, it bought a nice pair of suit and good shoes. My dad, when he was around, could buy a nice pair of shoes and a good suit. Today, a suit and shoes from a designer would be $2,500, same thing. So it's held its value. It's not necessarily to make money. Gold and silver is to preserve money, not necessarily to make money. So we use this as insurance to preserve your wealth, to not lose money. But here is the cool thing, is when manipulation starts taking place in the market, and we know that all these different banks, Goldman and Sachs and all these guys have been fined hundreds of millions. One of them was fined almost $1 billion for manipulating the price of gold and silver. Ironically, the governments can manipulate the price of gold and silver whenever they want for free and get away with it. So here's the thing, is every time there is a recession, what happens when there's a recession? All of a sudden, the price of gold will double, like the last time. Silver was like 5x. It went to the moon. Nathan, you said you invested as cash in an ETF index. I don't know what that means. You invested some of your money to buy an ETF in the index? You know, if you did that, that's good too. Depends what index, right? Oh man, Nathan, absolutely not. Nathan's question is are GIC's high interest rate environment work better? No, man. What does the GIC pay you right now? You tell me. So there's 3 numbers that you have to pay attention to. Number 1 is real inflation, stated inflation, and the level of interest that you get. Those are the 3 that you kind of have to pay attention to. Now, the hard one to find out what real inflation is, because the middle one is stated inflation, the one that you see on TV all the time and they advertise, oh, inflation is 8%. But anybody that has half a brain these days can go out and see that houses went up more than 8%, food went up more than 8%, fuel went up more than 8%. So if you actually start thinking about it, you're like, what on earth are they talking about? How is it only 8%? And remember, they have a lot of fancy calculations to make that number look as low as possible to make them look really good. So how do you get real inflation? Well, it's a lot of easy ways. Just look at what the general index, the Dow, went year over year. That would be a better way. Or look at M2 money supply. You can type in United States M2 money supply and go check out a chart on Fred, or go look at it on trade economics for the Canadian M2 money supply. That'll show you more of what the real inflation number is. If we look at the real inflation number, it's probably about double what they are actually stating. So if real inflation is 16% and stated inflation is 8%, but you're only going to get 4% from a GIC, oh my goodness. So you're telling me you'll make me 4%, but you're going to charge me 16. I'm still negative 12. I'm still losing. So you got to learn how to fight this inflation the other way, right? So this is where we call negative yielding rates. I've made several videos about this on YouTube. If you go on my YouTube channel, exact same name, Rough Team Realty, where you're paid to borrow. So if I can invest in something that is going up at the rate of inflation and pay that low rate, then I'm winning. So if my mortgage balance is 6%, but real inflation is actually at 16, I'm still getting 10%. I'm still profiting 10%. So that's why I never invest in GICs. Is that clear enough, Nathan? Yeah. Real estate returns don't account for taxes and utilities. I mean, of course, you got to include that. But this is why I have calculators and whole systems around real estate, because you have to calculate your maintenance, your vacancy, your property management, of course, your taxes and utilities, and your insurance and everything else. So we got to make sure that we're getting paid in a lot of different ways. So we've done a lot of videos on YouTube going over all the different ways that we talk about that. So remember, you get paid in 5 different ways through real estate. We always get paid through appreciation, depreciation, through our loans, which is amortization. We get paid through principal pay down and cash flow. And most newbie investors are always looking at cash flow, where cash flow is the last thing that institutional investors are looking for. So understanding how we can make money on the other 4 streams, especially the depreciation area, that is the way that why the majority of investors are buying properties, is for the depreciation, not because of the cash flow. In the United States, we have the extra benefit of having cost segregation. If we get in cost segregation, we can get even more depreciation. Depreciation for the full asset in the US is 27.5 years, but in Canada, we get it over 40. So if you can buy in the United States, it's even better. Montreal Services, how are you? Do you think interest rates in Canada will go over 8%? Oh, probably. Are you talking about mortgage rate or bank rate? Because the bank rate right now, what is it at? I don't even remember. Maybe you guys can help me. In the threes, right? It went up 0.75 today. I'm just having a brain fart. I can't remember. So they're not going to raise it another like 4.5%. I don't believe that for sure. But can a mortgage rate get to 8%? That's possible. Um, Tony, are you nearing your trigger rate? No, I fixed all my rates back in December. But mortgages are now being approved based on 7.5 test rate. So I think it is going to be above that after the interest rate rise today. I don't think, Nathan, you checked it today. What percentage of your portfolio should you invest in crypto? Really good question. Investor 457, something like that. I always say everybody should be investing in crypto, but how much? Only stick to the big guys, Bitcoin and Ethereum. You should own 1, 2, or 3% in crypto, depending on your risk level, but only a small amount. I used to only say 1%, but then I got a little bit more than 1%. And some people are saying 5%, but I think that's a little too rich. Tony, people are nearing their trigger rates. Problems are coming massive. Yeah, we're going to see massive capitulation in the market coming up over the rest of the year. We're going to see some real big trouble, really big trouble coming on the markets. Absolutely. I'm really worried for it. We're calling it like a tsunami of trouble that's coming. Hey, YouTube, you guys have been here. You've been very patient all the time. Fresh Yoshi, thanks for being here. Jeremy, thanks for being here. If you guys have any questions, I'd love to answer you guys too. We're getting a lot of questions over on TikTok, but you're more than welcome to chime in. Nathan, you said you're going to sub me on YouTube. Really appreciate it, buddy. Thanks very much. Hope I earned it. Trying to help you guys out if I can. Invest with TJ. You said with variable rates now over 5%. How are banks approving mortgages for properties over 2 million? They're not very interested in renting properties over 2 million. We just had a client today that went to go get $1 million loan on a property worth 1.5 million. They would only do it if they got $1 million collateral. If I had $1 million collateral to give you, why would we be asking you for the loan? The criteria for you to get a loan today is incredibly hard, brutal, in fact, I would say. So it's really tough, really tough. And the variable rates, I think, are over 5%, especially with the interest rate rise that you saw today. The 0.75% over, real strong doo-doo. People are in a big trouble, and the banks are less and less wanting to make a loan for something that is in the $2 million range. What we're seeing now is, remember, before they were going to sell you on your home and put 20% down, so 80% mortgage. But now what we're seeing is they only want to give you 70% mortgage, 60% mortgage, even 50% mortgage, depending on your whole situation. So really big trouble. Lorenzo, you said 3.25. Okay, that's the rate that it's at right now. So whatever the mortgage rate is, it's way higher, right? So this is where, how can you on the news be seeing that mortgage rates are going up and mortgage rates are going down? How is that possible for you to see the same news 2 times on the same news network? But that's because whenever you have your interest rate at the bank, remember, part of it is the bank rate from the central bank and part of it is their profit margin. So you could have this rate from the bank go up, but the bank from the central bank, okay, so US, the Federal Reserve, or the Bank of Canada has their set rate. Their set rate today went up 0.75, but the profit margin that Bank of Montreal, Bank of Toronto could have shrunk. So they could say mortgage rates went up and mortgage rates went down all in the same day. Very confusing. So just look at the total rate, right? Invest with TJ said USA is sheltered well. They have 30-year fixed mortgages. Yeah, their 30-year fixed mortgages is their most popular rate. Any one of our U.S. People that we consult for and advise for, we've been telling them since last fall, fix, all the way until the war started. In the first few months at the war, and they said that the rates are really climbing up. We were fixing a lot during that rate. If you've held on to your variable rate through this entire war and you are where you are today, you have to make that guess for yourself. I don't think it's probably worth it for you to fix today. because I still think that they're going to have massive market capitulation for the stock market and for housing over the next few months. Inspect 2020, you said this stuff gets scary. It does. It does. But at the same time, it's not scary if you're prepared for it. I've been preparing for this since 2010. There is always another market correction. It's a healthy market. That's capitalism for you, right? There's always a recession every 5 to 7 years. It's supposed to happen. Always supposed to happen. So I've been waiting for it, and that's why I buy gold and silver. So what do? Is you're always buying gold and silver when everyone is buying homes. And as soon as everyone's selling homes, right, and then you go into a massive recession, then gold and silver doubles, triples, goes way, way up, and then you could trade your metals for homes that have dropped really much in price. Always be going against the flow when you're investing. Montreal Services, you said, are we looking at recession? This is kind of a dodgy thing, right? Because absolutely 1,000%, we are not looking at recession. We are flat in it. We are way into it. We were into it months ago. If you were in 2 negative quarters, you're in recession. And it's been that way for decades. So all of a sudden, they want to change the definition of whether we're in recession or not. Oh, well, we had some jobs. Just because you have some guy serving fries, that does not mean it's a job as a living wage. Most of the jobs that came from are just service jobs at restaurants. So that is not going to cut it. So of course they want to say that everything's fine. Don't worry. We have everything under control because it's an election year. They're going into the midterms now. They have to make sure that everything is fine and rosy. So we kind of got to see through that part, right? It is scary. We are flat in a recession for sure. And that's why I always say that you guys should always have investments, and that's where gold and silver comes in. We've been buying this stuff since 2010. Go to trust companies for your mortgage. I've never done that, Tony. I've never done that. Which trust company do you use? Breaking Max, Bank of Montreal, or Bank of Toronto? I don't know. Honestly, I've used banks forever, and all banks are crappy. I've never found a really good bank. Currently, I'm with Bank of Montreal, but they're a steaming dumpster fire. They're terrible too. They have no employees. Everything is late. Takes forever to get approved for stuff. Inspect 2020. So does all variable rates go up today? Yes, absolutely. And depending whatever you were, because some people were on a variable rate with a static lock on their rates, like 1 year, 2 year locks on them. But as soon as your payment doesn't even cover just the interest and is not paying your principal anymore, the lock comes off. Even though you might have another year on your lock, you might say, well, what the hell? Well, that's what they call trigger rates. So you're going to be triggered into automatically going to a super high rate. In Canada, the estimate is between 80,000 and 3 times that. In the States, 750,000 up to 900,000 people are going to be triggered this fall. Invest with TJ. When do you think that new car prices and used car prices will come down? Used car prices are already coming down because they were to the moon. They were so unreasonable. New car prices are probably not going to come down. With all the supply shortages that are out there, I don't expect new car prices to come down. Instamiley, what you were saying, should I buy silver or gold? So normally the ratio that I follow over the past several decades is 70-1. So if gold is less than, so say that instead of 70-1, this is 60-1. Well, then I know that silver is overbought and I buy gold. Today, 1 ounce of gold is good for 95 ounces of silver. Almost this entire bar is the same price as this, which means today, if I was going to buy only one thing, I would only be buying silver today. If it's at 70-1, I buy 50-50 gold and silver. If it's going the other way and it's 50-1, then I'm only buying gold. So December will be bad after the midterm. Yeah, absolutely. They're going to put all the lipstick on the pig that they can to make this look as good as they can as they're heading into midterms to get a really good result. That's going to be serious trouble for everybody. Really big trouble. So it's only going to be until after the election. And then after the election, they're just going to let the dam go. Like they can't hold the dam up for too long, right? And there's already a lot of trouble. How gold and silver performed since 2010? Not as good as I would like it. And that's where all the manipulation come in. Like I was saying before, a lot of these big banks, Goldman Sachs and everything down the States, were fined hundreds of millions for manipulating the price of gold and silver. But a lot of the governments are allowed to do it for free. There's no problems, right? They're allowed to do it. So that's kind of crazy. But it has gone up since 2010 quite a bit. I think I've doubled I've tripled, I think, on all of my silver. My gold is less than that. Tony, you said you use Home Trust. All right, I gotta look into that, man. Credit unions. I've never used a credit union. Sorry, I don't know. I don't know anything about them. My wife used to live in Calgary, so she had a credit union, but I haven't used them before. But historically, credit unions are always safer than banks. Always safer. Greatest Q. Your mortgage was approved by BMO under 25 hours, so don't talk about them that way. That's amazing. That's great, man. We have people that are applying almost every single day through BMO, through TD, and whatever. We have people that are 2 months, 3 months. So I don't know what your situation is. I have no idea. But maybe you have a credit score of 850 and you have $3 million sitting in the bank and you're asking for a $500,000 mortgage. Maybe that's what it is. And you're like, I don't know, whatever. Maybe they just love you. I don't know. But everyone who I see is having massive difficulty. So are these these rate hikes look like the Bank of Canada is trying to fix its mistake by doing another big mistake. Don't you think so? Well, this is the problem between monetary policy and fiscal policy. That's a lot of big words. Who uses words like that? Okay. It means what the government spends, and the government goes and spends the money, and then they go to the Federal Reserve and say, print it. Okay. So that's how it works. They just got to come up with the cash miraculously to hand over to the government to spend. So the Bank of Canada is kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place, where the problem actually is sitting earlier on to the government that actually spent it. But listen, they always got to get their money from you somehow, right? So they injected $35 trillion into the economy around the world, and now they got to take it all back to bring the market back to stability. So this is a bad choice that the governments are facing. They have only two choices. Do I destroy the economy? Do I destroy the middle class and the poor by inflation? Or do I destroy the middle class through a massive recession/depression? So that's like telling me, which way do you want to get executed, by a gun or hanging? Like, it's a terrible choice for them either way. How are you going to destroy the market? You have to destroy it either way. And so they're making this tough call. But, the real thing that we should have done is, for the last many decades, is not overspend. But no government is able to not do that. Unfortunately, we kind of transitioned from a world back in the 50s, 60s, where we were doing a lot of things for the benefit of the country. And then slowly we started transitioning, and it went absolutely bananas after 2009, Citizens United in the United States, where after that, you were using all your money to buy votes. That's it. And so, but if we look back historically, every single election Canada and the United States have ever had, the winner of the election is just who had the most money. So why do we even bother having an election? Why do we bother lining up and voting? Just ask at the very beginning, who has the most money, and then just let them do it then, I guess, because that's how it ends up being working. So this isn't red or blue states. This isn't liberal or a conservative. Every government is overspending. It's a systemic problem because we use the money to buy votes, unfortunately. But this is the price that we pay. How they print money, a lot of it, in order to buy the votes, and then let it crash. And then they'll print money again and let it crash. And this typically happens every 5 to 7 years. The only reason that has lasted 14 is because we have started up the crack cocaine on the economy, just sticking it in their veins, right? Getting all of that stimulus money and pumping it out there, and just to the tune sometimes of $100 billion a month, just printing money into oblivion, which makes inflation take off like crazy. You've seen the home prices. My dad bought his first home for like $12,000. Okay. That home's like $1 million now. It's because of inflation. Montreal Services, you said, where do you buy gold and services? I'm sorry. I expect that you are in Montreal. If you are in Montreal, you should stop by on St. Catharines to a company called Kitco. It's the company that I use. You can also buy it online, and they deliver it straight to your house. When they come to my house like this, I usually take them and go straight away to the bank and drop it off at the safety deposit box. If you go to any one of my YouTube videos, if you guys like this type of stuff, you can follow me on my YouTube channel, the exact same name, Rough Team Realty. Go there. I have a lot of videos where we break down everything mathematically. It's some really, really good stuff. I really appreciate it if you guys can heart this video for me. It helps the algorithm. And go watch a couple of my videos on YouTube and subscribe to me there. I'd appreciate it. But under every one of my videos, I have the link for you where you can buy this stuff. I've been buying it since 2010. Be careful where you buy gold and silver. So much of it out there is fake these days. Imagine going and spending $2,500 on this thing and then finding out it's fake and all your money is gone. You can buy this same bar. It looks identical, same plastic, same paper. It looks identical for $25 on AliExpress. So imagine they buy the thousands for 25 bucks each. They bring them to Canada and then they try and sell them to people. So don't get taken. This is why the best way for you not to buy a fake is to go through trusted companies. If you are going to buy it, if you do decide to go to a coin show or you go to a pawn shop or anywhere else to try to buy these things, make sure that they test it in front of you. Bible error. 10 years from now, gold and silver will be at half value due to crypto. I don't think so. But you know what? Everyone's allowed to have their opinion. It's a free country. Is this a federal election year again? Well, in the United States, they have an election every 4 years. And then halfway, they have midterms, which is right now for Congress. Canada, it's not an election right now. Why is the credit union better? Good question. Credit unions are better because they have a lower tolerance for how much risk they're allowed to take on. Tony also said Duca. Yeah, I have some clients who've dealt with Duca before. They have a very small amount of criteria of people that they take. What is my lighting setup? Oh my goodness. I got a lot of lights in here, bro. You want to see? Check out. I got a ring light. I have this light. I have that light. I have lights over there. I got lights everywhere, man. This is a full-blown like studio, bro. Next year will be a bloodbath, Manny. Yeah, I mean, most metrics, you could say this year has been a bloodbath. If stock market has dropped and crypto has dropped and housing has dropped, we've lost trillions of dollars. This year has been a bloodbath. We moved off the gold standard since 1971. Exactly. And there's a lot of stuff that's happened since 1971. Fun website to go to. WTF happened in 1971. Go look up that website. WTF happened in 1971. Very fun. Civil and state are separated. It's crazy. Absolutely. Civil and state is massively messed up. Fiat currency and derivatives. Yeah, Luke, for sure. That's why I always say there's a difference between money and currency, right? This is currency. This is fiat or based on faith. And this is real money. This has been money for 5,000 years. This hasn't been money for 5,000 years, right? Manny, you said, I'm sure the Bank of Canada will push the rate up to 4%, possibly higher. Another, yeah, for sure. They've already said that they're going to. So I'm not really going to be surprised if they do. They said they'll keep raising rates until they hit a 2% objective for inflation. 2%. So I have no doubt that they're going to do that. Montreal Services, Kitco. Yeah, you're right. Manny, then we do a fresh start. No, we don't start with a fresh start ever. We still are left in the U.S. Massive, massive debt. U.S. is what, $32 trillion and 130 trillion of unfunded liabilities. So everyone doesn't understand what an unfunded liability is. Have you ever had a kid? Any of you people on here ever had a kid? Yeah, you've had a kid. When I have a kid, that's an unfunded liability. We know that that kid's going to eat next month, next year. But do you have the money yet to pay for his food next year? No, you don't. So a lot of these governments have made promises to their veterans They've made promises for people for healthcare. They've made promises to people for food stamps. They've made promises to people for old folks' homes and welfare, but they don't have the money yet. What about all the government employees and their pensions? They don't have the cash. They're just hoping to come up with it down the road. How big is that promise? $130 trillion. They can't even deal with their mortgage that they have right now, their payments. So we know there's some serious trouble going to come. Wealth. You said I didn't realize that when stimulus checks are, I thought it actually came out of the government of Canada account. Yeah, it came out of the government of Canada because they're spending it, but it's the Bank of Canada that has to fund it. They have to create the money. Luke, you're saying the Canadian Mint? Yeah, I like the Canadian Mint. Jean the Builder. How are you, man? He said he bought 2,000 ounces of silver and he's waiting. Guy's a legend. I love this guy. Listen, man, this is 100 ounces, you guys. This weighs 7 pounds. 100 ounces from the Royal Canadian Mint. This is 100 ounces pure, weighs about 7 pounds, 3.1 kilos, I think it is. And so he bought 20 of these. Baller. You were one of like the 0.1%, my friend. That's awesome. Wealthy says, where did the stimulus checks come from, and where's the money come from? So listen, man, there's not enough money. The government doesn't have enough money. Every time that you hear that yesterday they just built $1.2 billion for new building in First Nations places, and they're going to spend $2 billion over on this rent to own program. They don't have the money. They don't have the cash. So what they do is they just turn around to the bank, this Bank of Canada, and say, print it, invent it. Out of thin air. So if they could just invent $1.2 billion out of the thin air in one day, why would I be saving these type of dollars? That's what Rich Dad Poor Dad always says, right? You got to save, instead of fiat currency, buy real money. Put yourself on the gold silver standard and buy some of your own, just like Jean the Builder here. Awesome, dude. I love it. So then my dad earned $90K a year. He retired 6 times what he paid for his first home. Yeah. I told you my dad, his first home was 12,000 and now it's $1 million. So what is that? 80, 90 times its value. So yeah, prices, and that's all because of inflation. It took 25 years to earn in 1 year what I paid for my first home. For first home, 190,000. See, that's the thing, is we always look at it for the number of years it takes to pay for things. So right now in Toronto, the average home price is 1.3 million, but the average salary in Toronto is 65,000. Way out of whack. And just like you're saying, 25 years, I think the average here is like 20. No more paper pushing pre-con assignments. This may be a huge issue, cause people, that can't close. Absolutely, TJ. We had a long blowout before about pre-construction. I don't like pre-construction. I don't like it. It's not safe. They are charging bananas pricing. And if you go look around Toronto right now, there's a mix. There's a few builders that are still building, not many. Most of them have put their buildings on pause, or they're just going to go bankrupt. And we have whole lists of companies that are going to be going bankrupt. Big, big trouble. Hey, YouTube, if you have any questions too, you guys, you're more than welcome to leave some. Thank you very much. Inspect 2020 bonds. Bonds are a steaming dumpster fire. You stay away from bonds. They're terrible. I did a video on YouTube about negative yielding rates. You got to stay away from treasuries and bonds. Luke, you said you'll never earn in 1 year what the price of their first home price. No, you can't. So like I said, there's a lot of inflation that's coming after you. You have to be able to outrun inflation. That's the only way you're going to make it. And you got to make more money than them. All the whining that we can do, the government's not able to slow down how much money they're creating. They're not able to fix all the supply chain problems and create stuff. They can't flip a switch and have oil coming out of every pump, or electricity coming out like crazy and drop the prices, or go create food like crazy. All they can do is lower demand, which is what they're doing, raising interest rate and taking all the money out of your pocket so you can't go spend it. So we have to figure out ways to make more money and outrun inflation. It's the only way to make it. The government will keep spending and we have to suffer with interest hikes. Absolutely. The government will never stop spending. What does it cost to store physical metal? So you can buy it yourself, hold it in your home. That's a disaster. I would never do that. You can buy metal and then store it in a safety deposit box. How much is that? $100 a year or something like that. Really depends on how much you're going to store. Or you can store it with private companies, and they have a bunch of different schemes where you can buy the physical and pay for storage for a low price. Or you can buy it into some kind of pool where they have to legally hold 1 ounce for every 1 ounce that you own. And then they don't charge you for that. I didn't think Canada could print more money than it has to come from unconnected. Is it borrowed? No, it's not borrowed. It's kind of like created out of thin air. Remember, the dollars are only based on the economy. So if the economy gets bigger, then they can print more dollars. And in this case, the economy is not growing and they're just printing more dollars anyway. They say that the Bank of Canada and the Federal Reserve operate independently of the government, but they don't. They're in their back pocket. They were set up to be independent, but they're not. Montreal Services, lucky there's no capital gains on residential properties so far. So far, we never know. Never put anything past them, man. Yeah, they are in cahoots for sure. Luke, not 25 years to pay it off, 25 years to earn a single year. What the total cost of first home was. Absolutely. In Toronto and Vancouver right now, it takes 120 and 150% of the average income to make a mortgage payment. Way out of whack. And that's why those two cities are going to suffer more than anywhere else in Canada. If you go bankrupt, you still need to pay the taxes you owe to the government. Oh, I don't know about that. You got to talk to CRA about that. I think so, but I'm not really sure. Adi Kupa, will it ever happen that a variable rate will overpass the fixed rate? It's very possible. I don't remember any time in history that that's happened, but not really sure. Free the top G, Jimbo. That guy was something else, eh? Um, Just Learn Something TV. Hey guys, if you like this stuff, please follow me over on YouTube, okay? Rough Team Realty, and give me a heart on this thing or whatever that thing is called, really helps out the algorithm. Thank you very much for doing it. Thank you for giving me gifts. Please follow me over here. I'm trying to get a few more followers on my YouTube. I just hit 1,000. So thank you very much for your support. Canada could account for $600 billion in December 2021, equivalent to 150 years of nation. Couldn't account for 600 billion. Listen, man, the government is always trying to wish wash. Every government, it's not just Canada, the States, Europe, Australia, they're always trying to tuck money here and there. It's more about politics now, giving money and buying votes with it. So it's really tough. National historic accumulated debt, yeah, it's massive. They printed 600 billion just in the past 2 years. So we're into some serious doo-doo, guys. For you guys that are new here right now, I see there's a bunch of new guys. My name is David Ruff. I operate a brokerage in Toronto. We operate from Barrie all the way to Oshawa down to Niagara Falls, but we consult and advise people all over North America for all things financial. I own 4 companies all over Canada, and we invest in real estate properties all over Canada and the United States. And we help build people into multi-million dollar portfolios so they can retire and not work anymore. That's our main goal. It's crazy trying to make a truth in a world full of lies. Yeah, I've made several videos about that, because how do you get by when the government is lying and an individual bank is lying and everyone else is lying for their own personal gain? It's near impossible. That's why I hate realtors, is because every realtor I've ever talked to, now's the best time to buy. Now's the best time to buy now. And so as we went through this whole boom and bust over the past year, last September was the best time to buy. October was the best time to buy. December. And then when the war started, best time to buy, best time to buy. Every month, every time I talk to them, it's the best time to buy. And that's the difference, I think, between a short-term realtor who's just interested once versus a realtor who is willing to work with you for the rest of your life. Most of our clients are lifetime clients. Luke, you said awesome. You loved my show. Thank you very much. You may contact me one day. You're on vacation in PI tomorrow. Nice. Enjoy your vacation, Luke. It's kind of getting late for you, man. You got to get to bed. You guys, so I have I am very, very active on TikTok and on YouTube right now. I did have a podcast, but I've kind of slacked off on it. Haven't had much time to do that. Wealth, I operate out of Greater Toronto area, so I'm a real estate broker and I operate all around here. I'm not a financial advisor, but I've been investing since I was 15 years old. I've been doing a lot of stocks, a lot of gold and silver, a lot of properties. We have built properties. I have property managed properties. We buy and sell for investors, and I buy a lot for myself in holding companies in different countries. And we do a lot of advising and consulting for people all over North America and a little bit in Europe and a little bit in Australia. Haven't got to New Zealand yet, but I'm hoping to. But we operate out of Toronto. Offices are down near Bay Street, Bay and Queens Quay. So on the water on Bay Street, downtown Toronto. Bay Street, for any of you that are from America, is kind of like our Wall Street. Yeah, what's my opinions on Forex? I don't do that. I knew some people that used to trade Forex, but that's not a world that I'm in at all. Wealth, you're in Newfoundland. Nice. You know that I used to date somebody from Newfoundland, so all of her friends are Newfies. I freaking love you people. Newfoundland people are so easygoing, so friendly, so fun. I just loved it there, man. It's great. Good job, man. I hope you guys are making it good. Listen, I've been on here for a little while. I'm going to have to jump off because I got some more stuff to do before I hit the bed. This is kind of like our last call, you guys. So give me any questions that you have. And listen, I come on every single day, somewhere between 7 and 8 p.m., 7 days a week. I'm trying to, unless we have a lot of contracts that we're writing that night and we're in heavy negotiations or something. I may have to be gone, but I'm trying to come on more often just to be able to help you. The reason why I'm doing this is we are getting more calls than ever from Europe and all over the States and Canada, panicking, saying, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Like, where are we? And people are afraid. And so that's why I've been coming on more these days. I especially wanted to come on today because the interest rate went to the moon. And we know there's going to be a lot more trouble that's going to come down the road. So everyone's trying to figure out, how do we stay safe? How do we stay safe? And that is why I'm doing this, is because I want to help a lot of people if we can. Sam, I recognize your name. I think you've been on here a lot of times before. What should you do in today's market? Should you buy or rent, or do you sell? If I was in today's market, it really depends where I am. If I was in a C-class city and I was in a landlord-friendly jurisdiction, I would still be buying. If I was in a big city like New York, San Francisco, Toronto, Vancouver, I would not be buying. If I was looking for a home, if I was looking for a condo, then I might be buying a 1 or 2 bedroom, 2 bath kind of condo in the middle of a city. Then I would be thinking about it. Always keeping in mind if you can short-term Airbnb or whatever, so it's kind of a tricky question, it really depends on where you live, how much cash you have in your account, and where you are set up in your life, because I always suggest that you have some gold, silver, Bitcoin, Ethereum, opportunity fund, emergency fund. And if you have all of that already set up, then yes, then you got to be looking toward having cash flowing real estate, probably in a C-class city that is landlord friendly. And so you got to make sure that your whole setup is okay. And depending on where you are, how young you are, if you're very young, why would you be buying properties in your own name? Be buying properties in a holding company so that you can pay less taxes on it, right? And how do you get through your life? By paying 0% taxes ever. That's part of this book. Tom Wheelwright has a book by Tax Free Wealth to show you how to pay 0% in taxes. Why should you pay taxes? Most people that are out there are taxpayers working a T4 job or W2 in the States, and they're like, I hate paying taxes. I can't stand it. I hate how my government spends taxes. Well, there's nothing that you and me are going to go do to try to make Biden or Justin Trudeau. You think you're going to write something in a comment box and put it in the box and he's going to listen to you? No. So in order to not give them any money, you got to go legal, man. Don't ever go illegal. You're going to get it audited and you're going to get in a lot of trouble. Look for the different ways that you can pay zero tax legally. And how you do that is you invest in things the government is begging you to invest in. And what are those things? It always revolves in almost every country of the world around food, energy, housing, and jobs. If you can create food, energy, housing, or jobs, that's the backbone of the economy. If you can do that and provide that, and you can prove that, the government's going to give you a lot of tax credits so you pay zero tax. So we have to create a whole plan around that and how we're going to do all that. Um, Wealth, you said you're definitely tuned in because you're on this exact same mindset. Yeah. Well, I'm really happy, man. You know, they always say your vibe creates your tribe. So listen, guys, I wish that I could tell you that all of this is my information. I wish I could brag about it, but I didn't know this. I was dead ass broke. I was on welfare before. I was so furious about the way that the world was that I started to try to change my life around. I'm so upset that my dad died prematurely because we couldn't get enough medical treatment. I'm mad that I had cancer 2 times. My kidneys are currently shutting down. My intestines, I have to take massive immunosuppressants just to stay alive. So, I got a lot of bad stuff happening to me, but I changed things about myself by reading books and educating myself. That financial education is key. And I've been reading a book a week for 20 years. And I've gone to courses and colleges to take courses. I pay money to get on planes and fly to other countries and sit in conferences about this stuff for 20 years. That has made us millions to get to that point. So that's what you got to do. You have to be able to put in the time. Unfortunately, we could never cover it on one live. You know what I mean? There's just way too much to it. How do you convert gold and silver bars into cash if needed? Very, very good question, right? So if you have a silver bar and you need to sell this, I today could probably sell it within 15 minutes of me from my home. You can sell it at any coin shop. You could sell it almost any bank. You could sell it at any pawn shop. You could sell it at any jeweler. You can sell it to a lot of these online coin dealers and bullion dealers. You could sell it to a lot of places. You could also put it up on Kijiji and eBay, and people will come to your house and buy it. So, this is where you have to practice selling something just to believe it. But this is really, you can liquidate it really, really easy. So there is several places that I've used where I walk into the bank, I have cash in my hand, I hand them cash, they hand me gold or silver. The same thing works in reverse. You walk in, you hand this under, they put it on a tester, boop, boop, and they hand you cash. Minutes. Really, really easy. Hang on a second, you guys. Let's try and put this back in. Hopefully you can hear me a little bit better. You let me know, okay? That should be a lot better. Now, I've turned on my microphone. My phone died. You guys have had so many good questions. So like a C-class place would be somewhere like if you look in Tennessee, like Memphis, like not Knoxville, for example, but like Memphis would be a C-class place. A big city would be like Toronto, Vancouver in Canada. That's not a good place. Montreal would be a B-class. If you look at Calgary, you're also a B, C-class in Alberta would be a place like Lethbridge. We're talking about towns of about 100,000 people in a landlord-friendly jurisdiction. Boomerang. What books are you referring to, by the way? Are you talking about the books that I had held up before? These are the books that I had held up before. Tom Wheelwright has a really good book called Tax-Free Wealth. These are the top 2 books of the year for me, Peter Zian and Ray Dalio. These are the top 2 books of the year for me. But these are very, very advanced books. If you wanted to start your journey, I always think that Rich Dad Poor Dad is the book that you should start reading. If you go to the link in my bio on TikTok, for all you that are on YouTube, you can go over to my TikTok channel. On the link there, I have the top 10 books that I think that you should start to read to get yourself on that journey. Sir, may I ask if Is it not worth to buy a home and keep it till it appreciates in value? I'm going to give you a really good key in real estate. You know how there's the 10 commandments when Moses came down from the mountain in the Bible? One of the commandments that you got to live by is thou shalt not gamble. It's one of the principles. I don't want to go buy lottery tickets, right? I invest in things that are going to make money day one. So let's take one of the examples that I just had, we did for a client. Of course, I'm willing to help them. I'm a mortgage broker. I'm not a mortgage, I'm a real estate broker, and I operate all over the greater Toronto area, and we consult people all over the world. But they were very insistent on what they were looking for. Now, it really depends on your state of mind. So we bought a property. It costs $7,000 a month to carry the property, and they get $2,500 a month in rent. So that means that they're underwater $4,500 a month. They have to come up with it in their life, invent $4,500. How do they make $4,500 extra dollars a month just to pay for the property? But that's what they wanted to do. So of course we're going to help them. I don't agree with that as a long-term investing strategy. I want to buy properties that make sense from day one. Boomerang, I think I showed you the book, right? You're asking about that book again? User 188, you're saying buy a home and let it appreciate in value. Absolutely. Best guy ever. Jason Hartman talks about inflation-induced debt destruction. Inflation is your best friend if you own assets. But remember, you don't ever buy to your max. If you buy to your max, you're going to get wiped out with these interest rates. So you always have to cushion. That's why I always say you have to have an emergency fund and an opportunity fund available for you. But remember, those funds don't have to be filled with dollars. You can fill them with anything you want. Wealth, you said stay strong, buddy. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. St. John's, actually, St. John's in Newfoundland was a place that I had looked at, but only cursory because I looked at it accidentally. I was looking at St. John, New Brunswick, because St. John, New Brunswick has better tenant laws. So better in my favor as a landlord. So I didn't go to St. John's because of that. That's why we bought in New Brunswick. The boomerang, you said yes, the 7 one. I don't know what I said about the 7 one, buddy. So I said over on my link, if you go to my link on TikTok, top 10 books to read. Oh yeah, the tax book. So the tax book that I just read was Tom Wheelwright's The Win-Win Wealth Strategy. This is a good tax book, but his other book is called Tax-Free Wealth, which is really, really good. But if you look in this book, he talks about all the tax codes in all these different countries. Look at all these different countries. Here, country, tons of different countries. So the taxes are pretty good. They're all similar everywhere. Depending on, usually if you own your own residential place, usually you don't have to pay taxes on that, and you get massive tax credits if you're investing in energy, food, jobs, or housing, pretty much anywhere in the world. So if you can learn how to make money and pay 0% tax, you're already ahead of the game. Taxes are your biggest expense in life, so why not do it legally? Why would you ever cheat on your taxes? That's retarded, man. You're going to get hauled before some tribunal, get fined. Crazy. Don't do that. You can do this for free. His real book, Tom Wheelwright, is Tax-Free Wealth. That's the book that you should read. Hey, YouTube guys, if you guys want to have any questions, man, you guys have been so silent, but you've been very loyal and like sticking on here and watching. But if you have any questions on YouTube, please go ahead. Jeremy or Yoshi, if you're there, let me know. All right, you guys. Well, man, you guys have been answering a lot of good questions. So the interest rate has gone up today a lot, 0.75%, a lot. Interest rates are going to be hitting. We already saw 6.5 last week, so it wouldn't be surprised to see some 7% interest rates already. United States, they're coming up in 2 weeks with their next rate hike. So remember, Canada always follows the US 92% of the time. So if the US raise again, expect Canada to raise again. They might not go a lot hard this time, I mean, in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, Powell said that he is looking towards an unusually high interest rate hike. But we also know that they're trying to be very friendly toward the midterm elections. So let's see where that goes. So interest rates are going to continue going up. We have a lot of problems that are going to be coming up. Home prices, where are they going to go? Interest rates go up, home prices come down. And remember, we call them sticky categories where I am. All my people that I teach, we teach that it takes a long time. So when home prices go up really hard, rent prices, it takes up to 2 years for all of the rent prices to catch up because a lot of them are locked in. You need people to be moving out for the rents to recorrect up to where they are. It takes time. It takes time to trickle through the whole system. It's like when it rains hard, it takes time for it to soak down to the roots of the trees. Also, when they raise those interest rates, the problems are just starting. Imagine a tsunami wave that just hit the beach and it's going inland. So we're just starting to see the problems. Remember, the price drops that you've seen have only dropped it back from what it was at August last year. So we've only gone back a year. We've had 14 years of price rises, and it's gone back 1 year. Come on, that's nothing. So if you have a big house, you could still get out. You could still get out. Man, you guys, thank you on YouTube. I don't have any more questions from you guys, but thanks very much for coming on. Please follow me on YouTube, subscribe to me. I'm trying to get more followers. You guys really help me out. I just hit 1,000. I do a lot of videos where we're going through everything on the chart behind here. And I go through everything mathematically to make sure that we're really, really clean. We're doing really well. So, and if you can follow me on here, it really helped me out. And please, if I've given you any value, just follow me here. I hope I earned your follow on YouTube as well. If you have any questions, drop them for me. I'll try and help you out. Why is that interest rate goes up and housing prices go down? Very, very easy. We did an example earlier on in the live today that a $500,000 house at the rates that were in February was $2,000 payment. $500,000 property, same property, same price at the rates that they are today would go for $3,200. The rates are up. Imagine $1,200 more per month, and people can't afford that. So how much money people make is static. It doesn't move. Their salaries at their businesses are staying the same. So that means that they would go bankrupt. So that means they have to buy smaller and smaller and smaller homes. So that guy in a $500,000 property, which is a closet, like a 1-bedroom, very, very tiny, it's almost too small to even have a couple in. So if you have a property that's that small, you're going to end up having to move out of it or go into rental. So as interest rates go up, property comes down and vice versa. It's like a scale. So for every 1% that the interest rate goes up, property prices drop 10%. That's why today, when the interest rates went up 0.75%, that means the price of your property dropped 7.5%. Yeah. How does home equity work? What is the line of credit? So if you have $1 million house and your mortgage is at $500,000, you have $500,000 of equity. That's money in your pocket that you own. So if you want to get a line of credit on that, you can go to the bank and say, hey, man, I own half my house. And they're willing to lend you money based on all the money that you have sitting in your house. Does a stress test help? Not really. It does, but not really much. So, you have to qualify for a higher rate, usually 2% over, something like that. So if you qualified for a 2% rate before and you qualified for a 4, what do you do now when the interest rates are 7? So now you have to qualify for what? A 9? And nobody could qualify for that. So less and less people can afford it. Home prices will crash. Didn't realize that it would affect the market in a blanket way where mass people have to relocate. So yes, mass people will have to relocate. This is going to be a foreclosure frenzy that is going to happen over the next couple of years. Massive change in the market, but it's going to affect everybody in different ways. If you look at Canada, cities out in Alberta are all doing great. The property prices are going up. Whereas if you look in Ontario, almost all properties are going down in Ontario. All properties in Ontario? No, because the 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom condos are doing okay. We just talked to a guy earlier today that was in Kitchener with a townhouse. He's doing great. He's got to stay in that type of property. So it really depends what kind of property. Are you in multi-residential? Are you in condos? Are you in houses, detached, multi-residential, commercial? What type of property and what kind of city that you are in? And all of that plays into it. So it's not as easy as saying these blanket statements that all gold and silver is bad, all crypto is bad, all real estate is bad. There's never an all. Anytime that you see anybody on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, anything saying all of anything, you just say, no, I'm not interested. Anytime somebody says you got to go all in this one thing, no, you got to get out. It's trouble. So anytime that suddenly says the only thing you have to do is, you just stop listening. You got to do a lot of different things. Do you only realize the property appreciation gains only when you sell the home? Yeah, essentially, unless you are taking out a line of credit on that home to go buy other properties with it, then you're realizing the gains sooner. Do lines of credit go down when the house valuation goes down? Yes, absolutely. This is for Daniel Martin. They'll reassess it. There's no way that if you had a $2 million home and you had a $1.6 million mortgage, and then you had a $200,000 line of credit on the home, and the home price now is 1.5 million. You can't have a home price at 1.5 million and still be owing 1.8 on the home. Banks hate that. They can't stand it. So they most likely are going to call you and say, pay up now, pay a lump sum, or we're foreclosing on the home. They're not going to foreclose on your home. They're going to call your loan. And so if they call your loan, they'll say you have to come up with that $400,000 in 7 days, 10 days. And how many people have that kind of money just lying around? Not very many. So if they call the loan, then you're going to be in trouble. Sam, a lot of people say this. So this is the only economic indicator that we have that's pointing us in a positive direction, where he says that Canada, a lot of people are going to be immigrating to Canada. This has been the crux that Canada has been relying on since the 70s, since Trudeau won. Now we're on Trudeau 2. And so is there going to be a lot of people? For sure. Our demographics are collapsing. But will that be enough to buoy the economy? Probably not. Most of the people that are coming to Canada are not coming with a lot of money, enough to buy up all the homes. So they end up going into rentals. Sam, you said you need more house. Are you like crammed in with a big family in a small house? Or are you planning to buy another one? If you are planning to buy a house, we can help you out. We operate all over the greater Toronto area, Hamilton, all the way to Oshawa, up to Niagara Falls. But if you're outside of that, we also consult for people outside of that area. On YouTube, still, I don't have any questions, but if you have anything, I'd love to talk to you. If you have any questions, I'm here for you. I'm just going to send something. Yep. I'm still up to date on my YouTube, you guys. So thanks so much for coming. Ask me anything you want, anything to do with the economy right now. Listen, most people are scared right now, but I want to tell you, you can be afraid or you can be prepared. And I think you should be prepared. And if you have knowledge, you're going to be prepared. So when I first rode my bike for the very first time, my dad was running behind me. I was very scared. But then once I started riding on it, I was okay. Pretty much, if you go back in your memory and think, everything that you ever did, every job you ever did, everything you ever did was always scary. First home, first car, first love, everything was always scary, right? So you get scared about it, but then you get knowledge and then you're okay. So this is why I say, if you're educated enough about periods like this, then you can totally dominate. That's why I tell you guys, read these 2 books. I love these books. Great books this year. They're just the books I have on my desk, but try to read a book a week. Educate yourself, because if you're educated about it, you're not scared about it. You're excited. I can't wait to buy homes for pennies on the dollar. I'm excited about it. It's great. Wealth. What do you know about acquiring a business in the next couple of years? Oh, there's businesses everywhere for sale. The majority of the population is all a boomer population. They're all going to be retiring. So just do your research to try to find them. There's these websites. I think it was like called Flippa or something. There's several websites that you can buy businesses on. Really depends what kind of business you're interested in. What is the best way to know if a rental investment property would be good or profitable decision? It really depends, man. You got to know a lot of different things. So I was looking at this one district where I was looking to buy, And I started looking at the demographics. What is the average age? How much are there in their 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds? I want to know that. So I want to look at the population pyramid and their demographics. I want to look, is there multiple things that are working there? If you're in a city like Sault Ste. Marie that only ran off of Algoma Steel, that's a problem. But if you're in a city that has strong government, a lot of government workers, a lot of school teachers, a lot of people with several different jobs, big plants in the area, then I'm liking it. The city I was looking at had a lot of different things that were working around it. They also had a hospital there. I want to know how many beds are in the hospital. Do they have an international airport that is there? I want to know what the average income is for the province or state and the average income for that city to see if we're at a higher bracket. I want to know, is there a lot of Section 8 worker houses around my area? That's like low income housing in the United States or in Canada projects. You got to dig into that kind of information and then look at the rent price to value of the home. So typically you're going to be looking in the higher percentage of rates, right? We're going to be looking at 0.8% per month or greater. So, Leo May, you're saying that in the depression, could one income families afford a mortgage, a vehicle, and food? Listen, man, during the depression, it was terrible times. Anyone who has a grandparent or parent that went through this whole time and saw the damage that a depression did, you could have 10 people working in the same property and make zero money. Okay, they were all broke. So depression, I wouldn't really compare that. But if we just go back far enough to let's say around 2000 or something like that. Look at my whole life growing up. My father worked and he could, if he wanted to, have a cottage, and we had 6 kids, and my mom stayed at home and paid for food and everything else. That was possible around the year 2000. So, it's not that we have to go all the way back to the depression. It's just really more recent times when all of this money printing phenomena and this whole modern monetary theory, MMT, has come out with QE infinity, quantitative easing forever. It's more of a modern phenomenon that this has taken off. Section 8 is low income housing that is guaranteed by the government in the United States. So you're providing homes for people on welfare. Wealth, you're saying, unfortunately, we're headed into a depression of some sorts? Probably. Munch, you said, I have a condo. I'm willing to buy a house. Shall I wait or shall I buy now? Note, I have to sell before you buy. Oh, it really depends where your condo is and what home that you're trying to buy. So if your condo was in Toronto and you were thinking of buying a detached home in Toronto, that would be a terrible deal for you to do that right now. You got to wait because your condo is not going to go down very much in value, but the detached home is going to go down a lot. If you're going to sell your 2-bedroom condo in Toronto, a high value market, and move out to, say, Calgary and buy a piece of property there, which we have an entire network that works out in Alberta, that would be a great idea, because now you're going to be taking a lot of risk off the table, and you're going from a depreciating market into an appreciating market. Much better. So it really, really depends. If you're anywhere in the greater Toronto region, we can help you. If you're anywhere in Canada or the States, we do a lot of advisory and consulting for that. So you can reach out to me anytime for that. The more don't buy XYZ, but I can't afford anything. Yeah, it's tough. You got to start from somewhere, man. I told you, I started off on welfare. So in my life, I've made a pretty good thing. A lot of it has come from my wonderful wife. She's amazing. Most incredible lady on earth, man. She's like Wonder Woman. Gal Gadot's got nothing on her. But now you have 4 people sharing a house in order to cover shelter, vehicles, and bills. Man, 4 income earners. Brutal. So wherever you are, man, I would remember, all your money, all earned money, dollar for hours money should be put into investments. We're creating an entire course about that. Hopefully it's going to be ready for the beginning of the year, you guys. It's a massive course. If you have time commitment, it's basically everything I've done, every company I've run, crammed down from 20 years of experience into a very small group. Leo May, yeah, you're in Ontario. Brutal, bro. Absolutely brutal. For you have to live in one house. It's tough. You got to figure out a better way, and that house is going to be dropping a lot in value. If you're renting, that's okay to stay there. But if you are four of you, and you bought that house, man, that's trouble. All right, YouTube, TikTok, thank you so much for following me, you guys. I really, really appreciate it. Tonight was the best night that we've had. We've had 50, 60 people on here a lot of the night. And I normally only come on for an hour, but I've been here for 3 hours with you guys answering questions nonstop. Hopefully, I've given you a lot of value, and I've earned at least a like from you guys and a follow over on my YouTube channel. Please, please, all of you, follow me on my YouTube channel. I go into a lot of depth on a lot of things. I could really, really use the help. If you know even one person that this could help, can you forward my channel or just suggest me to somebody else? It would really mean a lot to me if you do. That's how you can pay me back. I'm trying to pay it forward for all the mentors that helped me all my life. I'm trying to come on here every single day and give my time up so that I can help more and more people get past their financial freedom. I hope I answered all of your questions. I hope that I've been giving you a lot of helpfulness. Follow me, please, like me, and share it to somebody. Share it to one person. Thank you for wishing me a good night. And thank you, Monkey, for telling me that you're going to go follow me on YouTube. It really means a lot to me. Yeah, 3 hours. Can you believe this? This has been a marathon. This is the longest one we've had, but this is because the interest rate has gone up. Danielle, you're saying thank you. Sam, you're saying thank you so much, you guys. I really appreciate it. I hope you see that I'm being very genuine. I'm really trying to help you guys, and I want you to succeed. If you ever need me for anything real estate around the Greater Toronto area, we operate all over here and sell. Remember, I can sell your houses anywhere in Ontario, but we act as consultants and advisors for people that are buying properties everywhere. So we are buying properties out in Alberta. We're buying properties in New Brunswick and Quebec currently for people that we're working with, and we work with people down in the US. So if there's something that I can help you with, you can always reach out to me and book a private time with me. Good luck to every Canadian. That's a very, very good time. User 188, you said you taught me so much in a short time. Yep. Good. I'm glad. Keep learning. Go to my link in my list and read those top 10 books that I suggest. That's for you to start off. If you're becoming more of a heavyweight, I suggest you go look at this stuff. Read these books. This is what's going to really, really help you out, you guys. Awesome. So I hope it gave you some value. Please follow me. Come back tomorrow night. I'll be here again. And if you have any questions, you can save them for tomorrow night for my next live, or you could send them to me somehow. I'm all over the internet on every single channel. So send me something and I'll try and get back to you. I wish you the very, very best, guys. I love you. I'm here for your health, wealth, and happiness every night. And have a great night. I hope you rest up, okay? Thanks very much, you guys. All the best.